Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Well, this is something that I wasn't quite expecting to work out, but it does. Thanks to the new Genos 2 and good old iPad and a set of MIDI wireless connectors for the iPad, I can connect my iPad to the Genos. No great shakes there, is there? But one of the things that I've been able to do using two pieces of software, well, two apps. One is Midiscope, which will analyze and study anything that I press on this instrument. It will send me the control code for it. And then there's another app called Midi Designer, which allows you to create your own MIDI template. So I can create literally buttons that should technically control Genos. And it works. And I'm absolutely gobsmacked. Don't ask me how. It's taken a while. But it's the interface for MIDI Designer is so simple. You just literally drag and drop a button, but then you tell it which control code for the Genos it's going to do. So, look, no hands on the Genos, everything. I'm just going to simply play the first chord, which is C minor. Right, on the iPad, I can now say I want to start with intro 3. And away we go. Didn't touch the Genos controls. Variation A, variation B, break. I can stop it, I can start it, I can control every single one of these controls. I can even press fade in, fade out, and it will do the fade from the iPad app. Now, what makes this really interesting is the Hammond organ that you saw me with the other day. Sounds like I'm cheating on a Genos, doesn't it? You saw me with a Hammond organ. The Hammond is nice, and I've never been overly keen over the idea of having something above another instrument. It starts to look messy and blah blah blah. So technically, and this is the other great thing, look, I can actually control my registration banks from here. So if I go to number 2, it changes to number 2. If I go to number 10, it goes to number 10. I can control my registration memories from a wireless device. Isn't that cool? Like I said, please don't message me to ask how I've done this, because it's I mean, I've got no understanding as such of like programming. I'm not a programmer as such, but I am getting very interested in this, because if it'll do stuff like this, then this is opening up a whole new bag of opportunities, or maybe even worms. I've got the ability to even control multipads if I so wish, but the fact that I can actually start and stop he says that he can start and stop. Let me go back to a registration that's got something in it. Intro 3. Start. There we go. Variation A. Variation D. Ending 2. And this is all from the iPad. So if you want to have a go at doing this yourself, as I said to you, do not message me for output assistance. It's been a big enough problem trying to get to here. But if you do want to do it, Sorry about that. If you do want to try it yourself, you can download Midiscope for the iPad. Don't message me again about Android. I don't ever go down the Windows and Android route. No, I'm a Mac man. So on a Mac, I'm using Midiscope, which is the program that will analyze the buttons when you press them, and it will give you the control code for those. And then I'm using Midi Designer. At least I think I'm using Midi Designer. Let me just go back to Midi Designer Pro 2. I don't even know if there's a new version of it, and there may be, because I've had this on the iPad for a long time. And I saw somebody controlling. I don't remember who it was now. I think it was a Catron using this. So all you do is obviously you set your design, the template, you put the buttons that you want to control on there as a graphic, and then away you go. Don't touch the instrument, just touch your iPad. So the beauty of this is I can have this now on the Hammond at the side, and I can control my style without having to touch a single button on the Genos. So this really gives the Genos even more capabilities than it's ever had before, because this means now you could technically set this up on any instrument and then control it from your pad. So you haven't got to have this scenario whereby all your devices are stacked up on top of each other on a stand. This will control your Genos wherever it is. And the fact that you can control the registration banks also then means 10 goes to number 10, 7, 7. Basically, all you do is when you're in Midiscope, you would press the control that you want. It will show you the command or the MIDI reference for that particular button, and then when you go into your MIDI designer, you create a graphic for one of the buttons. So, for example, stop. And then you go into it and configure that button to, when you press it, do one or two things. There's actually quite a few options in terms of the MIDI, what the MIDI button will do, and whether it's going to latch or stay on, or it's momentarily sort of on, or you have to make sure you know. You have to basically trial, and like I said to you, it's not been easy. But it works. It works an absolute charm. And I say the fact that you can actually change your registrations means you don't need to touch your Genos. So you can be playing another instrument like the Hammond, obviously the Hammond will control the chords. So you can actually play your Genos with this in front of you, and simply off you go. He says, simply off you go. Oh, that's why I'm back onto registration 1. There you go. So if I wanted to do that, I could simply on the Hammond go to, I want to choose intro 2, press my first chord and start. All done wirelessly. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I thought I'd show you this one, show this for you. But as I said to you, if you want to have a go at doing something yourself, it's using, let me just show you what's actually plugged in. I'm not even sure whether I can actually do it now via Bluetooth, but I've got one of these WIDI MIDI controllers, WIDI Master it's called, and just plugged it straight into the back of the Genos, told it it's MIDI port 1, MIDI port A, it's operating on MIDI channel 16, and it's working. So there you go. Oh, I'm going to have to plug that in the back now. I've unplugged it. But anyway, until next time, I just thought I wanted to show this to you because I don't know whether anybody else is doing this or showing you, sort of giving you the app names to sort of tell you how to do this. The key one is Midiscope, because without Midiscope you don't know. Yamaha, I don't think, publish a list of all the controls for all of the buttons. So Midiscope will actually tell you what the control is when you press or turn a dial. It will tell you what the MIDI control is, and then you just simply go into MIDI Designer and then copy that code into the button that you want to do. And it's as simple as that. So there you go. Apple iPad, Genos, wirelessly controlled. What could get better? Honestly, it's just phenomenal. I'd love to see an official app from Yamaha that will do this, so that everybody who's got a Genos could technically say, right, okay, here's my iPad, load the Yamaha app. I can control my Genos from my iPad. That would be an absolute blessing. So Yamaha, if you ever happen to watch this video, I mean, this is my simple version, but obviously the programs at Yamaha, I'm sure, can do this in a breeze because they know all the codes. So they could technically sort of say, right, okay, you can put this on your, I don't know, on your music stand, have the Genos by the side, you can play, trigger things, you could trigger your MIDI player from here if you so wish. But the fact you can actually do it from the iPad means that you can go and play a different instrument, but still have the power of Genos too. So there you go. Right, well, until next time, I'll say ta-ta, but there you go. iPad mini, well, in fact, loads on my iPad. In fact, where is it? Yeah, I've even got an old iPad mini, and this will even run. It's the same software is copied across onto here, and this will do it. So you can actually probably even control your Genos from a phone. But like I say, if Yamaha are watching and think this idea is a good one, I certainly think it's a brilliant idea. So yeah, let's see what happens. But there you go. It can be done. I shall see you guys later. Oh, don't forget to click subscribe. I'm trying to get to that 10,000 number. So if you can, do me a favour and just click subscribe. You'll be making my day. I just want to get to 10,000 before my birthday. So there you go. Thank you for all the lovely comments that everybody posts. It really does brighten my day when somebody says, I've really enjoyed this. Like I said to you, that there's no hard sell or no push. I'm just doing this because I love Yamaha Genos. It's phenomenal. And the fact now I can do it from my iPad, everything just gets better, doesn't it? Right, I'll see you later, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.